Hello there, my name is James Harrington. If Spanish football is for you, then this is the place to be. Today we preview matchday 37 in La Liga. Let's firstly recap what happened on matchday 35. Well, to be honest, not a lot, because both the games that I previewed, Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid versus Sevilla, ended as a draw. Let's start with Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid, the 0-0 at the Camp Nou. Now, Atletico Madrid started the brightest, and the king of the match, Yannick Carrasco, was their biggest threat throughout. A number of golden opportunities fell to the like of Angel Correa, but they just couldn't convert. In the second half, Barcelona were more in control, but they couldn't get a way through to the visitors. Messi, who was their biggest threat throughout, couldn't muster any magic either to give Barcelona the goal that they needed. That draw meant that they had handed the advantage to Real Madrid on the Sunday. Well, all our attentions then turned to Real Madrid versus Sevilla. Now, this game ended in a 2-2. What was really interesting was to see how Lopetegui lined up his side at the beginning of the match. He went with a false nine formation with Papu Gomez leading the line, bringing the likes of En-Nesyri and De Jong in the second half. But for Real Madrid, their defensive problems continued. No Ramos, likely to be ruled out for the remainder of the campaign, and potentially has played his last game for Real Madrid, with still not having agreed a new contract with the Real Madrid hierarchy. What we saw was Odriozola and Marcelo brought into the Real Madrid defence for this game. However, against the script as it were, Sevilla took the lead, Fernando scoring from a set piece. Sevilla looked really dominant throughout the first half, and the Real Madrid defence looked really frail. In the second half, Marcos Asensio came on as a sub, and from a Toni Kroos assist, got the leveller for Los Blancos. Then suddenly, a handball decision was given against Real Madrid, Militao committing the offence. That meant Sevilla had a penalty. However, the drama was that in that same passage of play, Real Madrid were able to break into the opposite end, and Bono brought down Benzema in the box, earning themselves a penalty. However, VAR ruled in favour of Sevilla. Rakitic converted, giving the Andalusian side the 2-1 lead. Real Madrid pressed and pressed to get the leveller, and in the 95th minute, Toni Kroos was shot outside the box, deflected off Eden Hazard, and in. Real Madrid almost got the victory with a Casemiro shot, but it wasn't to be, the game ending a draw. This meant that by the end of the matchday 35 fixtures, the Liga title race was still wide open. If the excitement of matchday 35 wasn't enough, we were treated to matchday 36 on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday in the midweek games. On Tuesday, we saw Osasuna and Alaves winning while Barcelona were held to a draw. More on that later. Then on Wednesday, it was the night of the 1-0 victories for Sevilla, Celta Vigo and Huesca. But also Atletico Madrid gave their title hopes a major boost with a controlled victory over Real Sociedad 2-1. And here's how the La Liga table stood on the morning of Thursday the 13th of May. That victory for Los Rojiblancos gave them a 4-point lead to Barcelona, who Marca described as being allergic to winning the title, and in light of recent poor results, they might be right. And Simeone has a 5-point lead over Real Madrid, but Zidane's men have a game in hand. The defeat to Atletico Madrid has meant that while Real Sociedad still occupy the Europa League spot, it's beginning to look a lot more precarious. In the relegation zone, Alaves and Huesca scored crucial wins to give them the tightest of breathing space. But what we are seeing is Getafe being sucked in with 3 consecutive defeats. But all of this will probably change before the weekend's games, with on Thursday night Real Valladolid hosting Villarreal, Eibar playing Real Betis and Granada hosting Real Madrid. As I said, it'll be interesting to see how those fixtures on Thursday night shake up the La Liga table on the weekend. But matchday 37, all the games are happening on Sunday, and the 2 games that I'm going to preview are Barcelona versus Celta Vigo and Athletic Club versus Real Madrid. Now, the reason why I've chosen those 2 fixtures is because if Barcelona and Real Madrid slip up this weekend, they've effectively handed the title to Atletico Madrid, and because I've talked a lot recently about Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, I wanted to talk about some different teams. I want to delve into the opposition in this episode, hopefully to not make this video too long. Let's start with Barcelona, and what a bad week it's been for the Blaugrana. Firstly, not reaping the benefits of having the home advantage against Atletico Madrid during that game 0-0, and then in the midweek when they desperately needed a victory, drawing 3-3 to mid-table Levante. Now, What's really strange is that last weekend, before I did my Matchday 35 previews, I'd actually predicted Barcelona to win the La Liga title. However, it just shows how crazy the La Liga season has been that 2 games later, their title hopes have well and truly faded. Let's reflect on the match against Levante. Well, firstly, Barcelona were 2-0 up in the first half. Lionel Messi getting a brilliant goal in the 25th minute. Then in the second half, everything changed. In the space of 3 minutes, Levante were 2-2. Dembele did make it 3-2, but in the 83rd minute, Sergio Leon gave the Valencian side the draw. Ronald Koeman in his post-match interview said how effectively that second half could have cost him his job, with speculation swirling around at the moment whether he'll still be in the Camp Nou hot seat at the start of the next season. Looking ahead against Celta, they'll be without Frankie de Jong, someone who's been so key for them this season, but he won't be playing due to suspension. And unfortunately for Barcelona, there's been a recurrence of injuries for Araujo and Sergio Roberto, meaning they're likely not going to feature this weekend. Busquets afterwards said this point against Levante really didn't do anything for their La Liga title hopes, and to be honest, he might be right. Collecting only 5 points in the last possible 12, it really has been poor form from Barcelona of late. What they need is for Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid to make mistakes if there's any chance of them winning the La Liga title. Now the opposition, Celta Vigo, and I really want to delve into them because I haven't spoken about them in recent weeks. Celta Vigo are on really impressive form of late, with an outside chance of qualifying for the Europa League. Currently only 4 points behind 6th place Real Betis, and admittedly if Real Betis do win their midweek game against Eibar, that changed everything, and possibly the Galician side have hit form a little too late, but they should be really impressive how they've turned things around. Currently on a run of 4 straight victories against Osasuna, Levante, Villarreal and Getafe. Last night, beating Getafe 1-0 thanks to Nolito getting a goal in the first half. This is such a different side to the one playing last season. Currently sitting 8th, whereas last season they finished 17th. Since Chacho took over from Oscar Garcia in November, he's totally transformed the side. Celta Vigo recently confirmed their 10th consecutive season in La Liga with 4 games to go, something they've only achieved on 2 other occasions, which is a brilliant thing for the Galician side. Chacho has made them an ultra-attacking team and a real goal-scoring threat. Compared to Garcia, he's averaging 1.5 points per game, whereas his predecessor was only averaging 1.08. What Chacho has done is he's installed a 4-4-2 or a 4-1-3-2 Christmas tree formation. Really, it's a dealer's choice how you interpret it. With Renato Tapia shielding the defence, sitting deep with a front 5 of Mina, Suarez, Nolito, Mendes and Aspas, playing this really dynamic, full of flair, fluid football. None more so evident than against Villarreal, where they won 4-2. They've scored more goals this season than they did last season, and they currently sit 5th in La Liga for most goals scored. For Celta Vigo, Renato Tapia and Iago Aspas are key. Now, unfortunately, Renato Tapia has been ruled out injured for the rest of the campaign. We've seen Fran Beltran step in ably like he did against Villarreal. And Solari came in for Iago Aspas and he got his first goal for the club. Now, I've waxed lyrical in the past about how important Iago Aspas is. I think he's such a key asset and is so valuable for the Galician side, getting 13 goals and 11 assists. So he doesn't just score, he also provides for his teammates. However, what we've seen is Santi Mina really stepping up. A man who only got 10 goals, he's got 10 goals this season, only got 6 last season. So there's an improvement. His XG has gone from 0.26 per 90 to now 0.35, and as well his percentage shots on target has increased from 29% to 45%. He has been crucial at times when Iago Aspas isn't playing, and you really say he's developed a lot this season. Another thing about how Celta Vigo play is that they're second in La Liga in terms of pressure, so they really try and suffocate the opposition. An interesting stat, just to make you aware, is that Celta Vigo are the team in Europe across the top 5 leagues that give the greatest percentage of minutes to homegrown players. So it shows there's a real pipeline of talent coming in at Celta Vigo. Look, Barcelona, be warned. The team that they played on matchday 4 and beat 3-0, who they were playing with a back 5, are just totally different, and so will be a real tricky opposition for Ronald Koeman's men. That being said, what do I think is my prediction? I made a good case of how great Celta Vigo are playing, but I just feel Barcelona need to turn it on now more than ever. So I'm going to go with a 3-2 victory for Barcelona, but I believe there's going to be a lot of late drama. The next game to talk about, Athletic Club versus Real Madrid. Now, Athletic Club have this tendency to upset the big teams. They've beaten Atletico Madrid of late and Sevilla. However, last night they played Huesca and they lost 1-0. And the only difference was Sandro Ramirez getting his 6th goal of the season for what seemed to be a cross into the box, and when Unai Simon went down to collect, the ball spilled underneath his arms and into the back of the net. Now, I've praised Athletic Club in the past for their policy of playing their youngsters. There's really a lot of talent coming through at the Bilbao side with Oyan Sanset, Asio Villalibre, and what those players are doing, they're challenging the established pros like Munayin, Williams, Garcia. But what's becoming apparent to me in recent weeks, and especially in this game against Huesca, is that do they stick too rigidly to the 4-4-2 system, the counter-attacking system that Marcelino has adopted since he's come in? And is there anything they can do beyond that? What Athletic Club tend to do is they bring on substitutions, like-for-like substitutions, whether it be Nico Williams, Inaki's younger brother, or Ibai Gomez, to name a few. But when they need to shore games up, see games out, it seems like they concede a goal late on, or a lot of goals in the second half. When I first started to think of this notion of Athletic Club struggling to see games out, it dawned on me in the match against Osasuna, where they drew 2-2, where Budimir got a goal in something like the 83rd minute. And when you look at Athletic Club's stats, they've conceded 24 of their 38 goals this season in the second half, and especially they feel to be late on, and games that stick out in my mind are Valladolid or Real Sociedad. So the question has to be asked, is the 4-4-2 system enough? So again, I was reflecting on what Marcelino said after the game against Osasuna, and he was saying how he was annoyed for his players, that they do a lot of things right, but they don't know how to play calm. So I decided to delve into the defensive stats of Athletic Club, and it was alarming. Out of the 20 teams in La Liga for tackles won, they sit 17th. In terms of successful tackles on dribblers, they sit bottom, and they sit middle to bottom in terms of pressures and interceptions. So a big thing that Athletic Club need to work on going forward is that defensive solidity and robustness, and something they really need to be wary of when they play a side like Real Madrid, who'll be trying to pick them apart and expose their frailties in the back line. With all that being said, I think Marcelino's game plan is clear when they play Real Madrid. They'll adopt a similar approach to the Sevilla game, where they'll let the opposition dominate possession of the ball, dominate passes, dominate chances, and then what they'll do is probably late on deliver that sucker punch, that late blow, and try and either nick a victory or at least get a few points from it. Now we talk about Real Madrid, and since January 30th, that defeat to Levante, they've gone unbeaten in La Liga with 10 wins, 5 draws, securing 35 points out of a possible 45. It was a real missed opportunity not beating Sevilla on the weekend, which would have allowed them to go top of the La Liga table. However, whenever I look at Real Madrid, and especially when they play Granada tonight, the real thing that's compounded their campaign is injuries. It's the main talking point about this season. Real Madrid will be without their first choice back four, which is Ramos, Varane, Mendy and Carvajal, for the 22nd time in the La Liga season. And looking at the squad travelling to Granada, there's no Marcelo. So it will be playing tonight a team that have no first choice defenders, having to draft in Miguel, the 19-year-old, for Marcelo. Real Madrid have been able to kind of go through the motions this season with the injuries that they had, but it seems to be a real problem of late. Look, if Zinedine Zidane has a trophyless season at Real Madrid, there's speculation, well, his job will be under intense scrutiny. Already there's rumours linking him with a job at Juventus, but just imagine a summer where Zidane goes, where Ramos doesn't sign a new deal so he leaves. It could be a real summer of upheaval for Real Madrid. Now focusing more so on the game against Athletic Club, like I said earlier, Athletic Club are going to play on the counters, so someone who's going to be key for Real Madrid is Toni Kroos, the German midfield maestro. He will have to be able to use his incisive passing and crosses to really unpick that Bilbao defence. He's joint second in La Liga for assists with 10. He leads Real Madrid for passes and progressive passes, and what is going to be really key, like what it was against Sevilla where he was that midfield maestro, is their long passes in behind the defence. As I say, Athletic Club really can soak up the pressure, so it's for Toni Kroos and basically the whole Real Madrid team to step up, but I think Toni Kroos is going to be critical against Athletic Club. Now, what do I think that means for my predictions? Obviously, the result will hinge on what happens in the midweek game against Granada, because this is recorded before that game. If Real Madrid were to lose against Granada or draw, I think they'll be feeling quite flat, knowing that it's looking less likely they're going to win the La Liga title. But if they do beat Granada, I think they'll be really up for the fight against Athletic Club. So I'm going to imagine a scenario where they've beaten Granada, and I think it's going to be a very tight 1-0 victory for Real Madrid against Athletic Club. Real Madrid are going to get all the 3 points. Well, that's it for this week. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.